Assalamu alaikum. If you think this is funny, I don't. I think this is terrifying. This is the objective of the invasion of the Middle East. And this is what's going to happen if and when M103 passes. The wording of it is such that I won't be allowed to speak out against this anymore because they will quell me into silence as they will you. So ladies, if you like this look, oh, sorry, I'm a whore. I got hair sticking out. There we go. If you like this look and you think it's for you, choose to wear it. But I assure you, most of these women are not wearing it because they chose to. They are being told that they must and forced into wearing it. Notice our little hijab hoax girl, our very own 11-year-old from Toronto. At 11 years old, she's 2 years past where they consider a girl to be a full-grown woman, which is why she's wearing a hijab in the first place. No 11-year-old is a full-grown person. She's not even old enough to be charged with the crime that she committed in falsely accusing someone of committing an act against her. She's not even old enough for that, but in her culture, she's a full-grown woman. Her dad can sell her at any time. Didn't anybody think to ask why an 11-year-old has to wear a hijab? What is the purpose of it? What's the meaning of it? If you think that this can't happen in Canada, or you're one of those people who thinks you're a badass Canadian who says, let's see them try to do that to me, ask Annie Cyrus what life was like in Iran when that place became known as the Islamic Republic of Iran. She did a video, and I'll leave a link to it at the bottom of this, talking about M103. You could ask Aksa Parvez about M103 or how she felt about the hijab, except that her dad and her brother murdered her with the hijab that she refused to wear in Ontario. So if you think it can't happen here, boy, are you wrong. If you think they're never going to walk into your house and make you or your daughters wear one, like I said, talk to Annie Cyrus or talk to Brigitte Gabriel, who was a Christian, there's a big story. Go look up Brigitte Gabriel. Her story is unbelievable, where you would either convert to Islam or you would be killed. And some of the people there, they would go into your house, they would find a mom and a dad and a kid, tie the legs of the kid to each of the parents and pull them apart until the kid came apart in pieces. This was in the late 70s, early 80s, I believe. Late 70s, 80s. I forget exactly what time frame, but it wasn't hundreds of years ago, folks. This was just prior to me being born. This isn't new. This is just the way it has been for every single civilization who has come into contact with Islam since the beginning. If you have no idea what I'm talking about when I say M103 or Motion 103, please look it up. They use the word quell in there, which means to stop by force, Islamophobia. So me telling you this right here is me offending Motion M103. If you look around, I mean, we're really not supposed to have to look at color, but look around you and have a look and see how many people look like they might have European background, or look and see how many people's grandparents fought in a war to protect our country. People are invading from all over the worst possible places in our entire world, and we are not only allowing it, but we are encouraging it. Pegida Canada protested our invasion and the attack on our free speech at City Hall in London on January 17th, I believe. Check out the video. I will leave a link in the description below. From the video, it seemed like less than 20 people were willing to stand in the cold and defend our rights to have an opinion in our own country. Somebody with a camera asked a lady there if they could take a picture of her sign. Her sign said nothing more than no to M103 with a circle, M103 of course with the line through it. She said it was fine as long as they didn't get her face. That's what I noticed, that they actually were showing very few faces, and mostly people were getting taken pictures of from the neck down. I can't believe it. Like how far we have fallen that people are not able to show their faces when standing up for the rights and freedoms of our own country, our own history, our own culture, our own life, the way we were all raised. I keep saying it because we are the only ones who have a right to be here. Everyone else has no right to be here. If we grant them the privilege, they must abide by our rules. And if they don't, they must be removed. It is that simple. If I come to your house and we sit down for dinner and you decide that you don't like my values or my manners and you want me to leave or to change my ideas, it's your house. It's your right to determine who gets to stay there. Now, if I decide it's your manners that I don't like and I'm going to stay anyway, and that you had better change your attitude, anyone with half a brain can see that that is not how it works. It's the very, very reason that we have ADT security in our homes or big dogs. It's in order to keep the people out who we don't want in. Then why is it not okay to do the same thing with our country? Why does our country, our home and native land, not deserve the same protection as our individual homes? And how long do you think we'll be able to defend our individual homes when the land outside of our homes is being occupied by people who don't have the same value as us, who don't consider that we own that house and they don't have a right to be there? They didn't consider it when they came to the country and forced their way in or got welfare or had no intentions of assimilating. Why are they going to have any respect for the possession of your own home? They won't. They've proven that they don't have respect for what is ours. Why is that going to stop with our houses? Please check out this video from risecanada.com. I, again, will put the link at the bottom. It's a guy preaching about Muslims, Islam not being the religion of peace. He's trying to say that it's not the religion of peace. And what happens in Ontario? A couple of Muslims come out and beat the crap out of him for saying they weren't peaceful. That's the way to show him you're not peaceful. Beat the crap out of him. There was a crowd of people standing around and nobody helped him. This is what it's coming to, folks. And if you don't think it can happen here, it already is. I'm going to leave another link at the bottom. Sorry, I'm sending you in all kinds of directions. I don't yet know how to kind of interject these videos into mine, but I want to make sure that you don't miss anything. So there's a link here from World News published on March 4th of 2017. It's of a mosque in Toronto, and the imam is leading a prayer. They're praying to Allah for the help to destroy non-Muslims. Nobody says anything about it. And when you watch the video, you'll notice there's no women in the video, because that's right. Let's not forget, women are not valued in Islam. So they're not allowed to be in the same area of the mosque with the men because they're second-class citizens. Again, if you were to listen for the so-called feminists, they are nowhere to be found. The crickets. If I had that cricket thing, I could put that in there now. They're probably somewhere off doing a walk of shame or recovering from their latest abortion. There are no female Muslims with hijabs outside holding signs for equal rights for women. They show up to Black Lives Matter marches, And they do stupid things like say we need emergency hijab kits on the Dalhousie University because Muslims are being assaulted on such a frequent basis that they need to have access to emergency hijabs. Which I think is just way too funny because, well, we all know from our recent little hijab hoax in Toronto that these attacks are not happening. And just like with almost all of these other reports, the people won't come forward, they just don't want to cause alarm or so on and so forth. But it's just such a frequent occurrence that we have to have an emergency hijab kit at Dalhousie University. Immigration and refugeeism used to be that a few people who wanted a better life would apply to come here. Our government would take the time, have a look, see who was applying, and make sure that this person was going to contribute to our society. Now, thanks to our very own immigration and refugee minister, who is himself a refugee, and who was the national president of the Canadian Somali Congress, has now got a target for immigration. They're trying to reach 340,000 immigrants and refugees every year. Now, this guy is really hard to find stuff on, so if anybody can help me out with that, I really am trying to work on digging up his dirt. But here's something that I thought was interesting. He co-founded the Regent Park Community Council and was able to secure $500 million to revitalize a project in Regent Park. Now, there are 15,000 residents in that area, and he got $500 million. I don't know. Does the shock look on my face not represent what anybody else goes, what the? So also please remember that immigration is not a program that we should be seeking to hit a target of. We should be taking as few as possible, only in the areas of need, right? Right now, I've been in Halifax for 2 years and then some, and I can't get a family doctor. So we should be importing doctors. Now, according to Global News, and based on their reports, speaking with Mr. Hussein, the economic class will be where a lot of these people are coming in from. They're going to be made up of caregivers, skilled laborers, and professionals. That is supposed to actually be making up the largest portion of the chunk here. He said 300,000 arrivals per year would become the new normal for Canada. As well as these laborers and professionals, the family class, so parents, grandparents, and children, and then refugees and humanitarian cases are expected to make up the rest of this. So one of the arguments that they like to use for bringing in refugees is that we just don't have enough people. We just don't have enough people to work in the labor force. We need more people. Then why is it there are so many Canadians on welfare? Well, they say, that these people coming from other countries are willing to do the jobs that Canadians are not willing to do. Well, I don't want to work every day. I would love to sit home and put my feet up, drink coffee and read books. That would be great, right? I didn't grow up thinking I was going to have the job that I have, but I started somewhere and I am not above working at any job. I'll tell you what I am above. I am above taking a handout welfare check. It's there for people like me who, if something were to terribly happen, in a moment of need after putting into this system for well over 20 years, I put into it. I have a right to take that out if I need it. But I don't. And I cannot say that I would never. If I needed it, I put it there. I'm entitled to it. Nobody coming here from another country should ever be receiving any kind of welfare or financial support at all. But there are a number of Canadian people sitting outside of the YMCA or the Salvation Army or the Canada Services building at 3 o'clock in their afternoon, still in their pajamas, smoking cigarettes, which I can't afford to do as a full-time worker. Not that I would, but you know what? How am I paying for their cigarettes? They're not even dressed at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't tell me they can't find a job. They can. They just feel like they're entitled, and they're not. Let's get these welfare sucking Canadian citizens off the system before we bring in the world's destitute and handicapped and can't speak English and don't want to work and want to just suck our system. This is a deliberate plan by our government to screw us. And it's not, sadly, the more you wake up, the more you realize it's not Justin Trudeau. He has no control. It goes back so far that there's a book written by Ayn Rand in, I believe, 1938 that expresses this. If you haven't read Anthem, please do yourself a favor and pick up a copy because this is where we're headed. I do want to say that I can recommend another book, Infidel. This book is amazing. And if you want to learn about where our immigration minister hails from during the time when he was there, read this book. I don't know if they're related, I have no idea. But this wonderful, brave hero, actual hero of our time, not someone who's transgender and so therefore they're a hero. This is a person who survived genital mutilation at the hands of her family. So if you think that this can't happen in Canada, read this book. Look up Annie Cyrus. Pay attention. Wake up, people. If you don't think it can happen here, you are endangering everyone. Thanks, guys, for listening. Have a great day.